What's up, Jesus lovers, and welcome back to Epic Journey Through the Bible. My name is Pastor Jacob Serns, and I do this every single day with about a 5-minute video. Right now, we're going through the life of Jesus Christ. And my challenge to you, my statement to you, which you've probably heard before, is that you can't judge a book by its cover. Can't do it. We are looking at John chapter 12, and we're going to be specifically looking at what Judas says here in this story. We're talking about the feast at Simon's house, and we're talking about Mary Magdalene and how she came and anointed Jesus' head and Jesus' feet with that expensive perfume that she had purchased that cost her a year's salary. And we're looking at how the response now of Judas as he murmurs and whispers with other people in the room, and he says how she really should have, she should have used that money to give to the poor, so that the poor could be wealthier and the poor could have what they need. This is not really a good idea to do that with Jesus and just waste it all in one shot there. So he's complaining about that. He's saying really mean things about Mary to the other people there. And the Bible tells us that the reason he was doing that is because he wanted to steal the money himself. He was taking God's money from the treasury box that people would donate to. He was stealing it, taking it for himself. Horrible stuff. Awful, awful to steal in any context, but to steal from God is even worse. I mean, it's horrible. And yet, he was probably one of the most respected disciples of all of them because he looked real good. Does that ever happen with us? Do we think that we can hide it from people? Because the reality is you can hide it from people for a while, but not forever. God sees the heart. And Judas was hiding it so well that people thought he was the most educated disciple, probably the best dressed disciple, looked good, sounded good, probably very eloquent when he spoke, sounded very intelligent. In fact, even this statement here looks so humble and so pious and looks like such a good thing to say that I bet people who heard it thought, oh yeah, he's right. She should have given that money to the poor. How selfish of her to just buy this expensive perfume, and how wasteful of her to just pour it out on Jesus' feet. That's just stupid. That's just not a smart usage of money. Are there people even nowadays who might say something like that? Right? Justifying certain things and expenditure of money here or there and saying it's not smart here, it's smarter over here, whatever the case, and trying to make the other person not look good for wanting to spend the money the place that they feel they want to spend the money. Well, we know from the story that Mary was right to spend the money on what she spent the money on. And we also know, based on the Bible, that Judas was really saying it because he was trying to secretly steal the money for himself and line his own pockets, sadly. So guys, you can't judge a book by its cover. Just because somebody looks good, just because somebody sounds good, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're good in their heart. God sees the heart. God knows what is right and what is wrong. And so we don't want to judge anybody based on anything, but we definitely don't want to just get caught up in this thing where, if that person looks good and sounds good, then I'm just going to follow wherever they lead me. We're going to really have to judge what people say based on the Bible, based on the Word of God. And if we have a "Thus saith the Lord," then we need to go with that over what anybody says, no matter how good they sound or how good they look. We want to go with what the Bible teaches us to do, what the Bible teaches us to follow, because we never really know what's going on in a person's heart. Fortunately, God does. He sees the heart, and he will take care at the appropriate time, like we saw with Judas. God took care of that at the appropriate time, and Judas is going to face some consequences in the judgment for standing against Jesus and denying him and betraying him to the Pharisees. So guys, let's align our lives with Jesus. Let's not fall for it. Let's not judge a book by its cover, good or bad, because you never really know what's going on in the heart, but God does. Guys, I hope this was an encouragement for you. I hope it strengthens you in your faith. Hope it gives you eyes to see and ears to hear, to understand what God is showing you. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace, love, and the joy of the Lord.